Imagine saving your country from its greatest enemy, returning home as the most celebrated man alive, and then spending your final years far from the city you rescued. That was the strange fate of Publius Cornelius Scipio Africanus. He defeated Hannibal, broke Carthage's power, and helped turn Rome from a frightened Italian republic into the dominant force of the Mediterranean. Yet political rivals dragged his name through investigations, accused his family of corruption, and pushed him into bitter retirement. The irony is almost perfect. Hannibal could not destroy Scipio on the battlefield, but Roman politics nearly destroyed him at home. Scipio grew up during Rome's darkest crisis. In 218 BC, Hannibal crossed the Alps and brought war into Italy. Roman armies were crushed at the Trebia, Lake Trasimene, and Cannae. Tens of thousands of soldiers died, allies began to waver, and for years Hannibal moved through Italy like a nightmare Rome could not wake from. Ancient tradition credited the young Scipio with saving his wounded father at the Ticinus and rallying survivors after Cannae, although later writers may have polished parts of these heroic stories. What is certain is that Scipio rose with astonishing speed. In 210 BC, while unusually young for high command, he was sent to Spain, where his father and uncle had recently been killed fighting Carthaginian forces. Carthage possessed armies, allies, and the fortified base of New Carthage. Scipio attacked the city in 209 BC and captured it in a brilliantly timed assault, gaining weapons, money, hostages, and a major harbor in one stroke. He followed that success with victories at Baecula and Ilipa. By 206 BC, Carthaginian power in Spain had been broken. Scipio had not merely won battles, he had removed the source of manpower and money supporting Hannibal's war. He also treated prisoners and local leaders with calculated generosity, winning allies as well as territory. He began to look less like an ordinary commander and more like a man building his own network of loyalty. That was where admiration began to mix with fear. Rome's political system was built on competition among aristocratic families. No single general was supposed to become greater than the Republic. Scipio, however, seemed larger than the offices he held. His soldiers adored him. Crowds admired him. Stories spread that he enjoyed special favor from the gods and privately visited the Temple of Jupiter. To supporters, he was Rome's chosen savior. To rivals, he looked dangerously close to a king. After returning from Spain, Scipio was elected consul for 205 BCE and demanded permission to invade North Africa. Many senators opposed the plan. Some preferred to keep fighting Hannibal in Italy, while others distrusted Scipio's ambition. He eventually received Sicily as his province and permission to cross into Africa. There he built an army, including veterans who had survived the disgrace of Cannae and sailed for Africa in 204 BCE. The gamble worked. Scipio allied with the Numidian prince Massinissa, whose cavalry became crucial. He defeated Carthaginian and Numidian armies, threatened Carthage, and forced the city to recall Hannibal from Italy. The two commanders finally met at Zama in 202 BCE. Hannibal used war elephants and experienced infantry, but Scipio arranged lanes through his formations, allowing many elephants to pass without smashing his line. Massiniss's cavalry drove off the Carthaginian horsemen, then returned to strike from behind. Carthage was defeated, the long war ended, and Scipio received the name Africanus. For a time, he stood at the top of Roman public life. But victory created a problem. Scipio had become the kind of hero Rome desperately needed during war and deeply distrusted during peace. His most determined political opponent was Marcus Porcius Cato, known as Cato the Elder. Cato represented strict discipline, suspicion of luxury, and resistance to Greek influence. Scipio was almost his opposite, charismatic, cosmopolitan, and surrounded by personal prestige. Their conflict reflected a struggle over what Rome was becoming after its victories abroad. The final crisis came after Rome's war with the Seleucid king Antiochus III. Scipio's brother Lucius commanded the Roman expedition in Asia, while Africanus served as his influential lieutenant. The campaign ended with victory at Magnesia, although Africanus was reportedly ill and away from the battlefield. The peace settlement brought enormous payments and treasure into Roman hands. That money created suspicion. Political enemies began asking an explosive question. Had the Scipio brothers kept part of the money? The surviving ancient accounts are confusing and sometimes contradictory. Lucius was forced to answer charges involving public funds. Africanus was challenged to explain the campaign's accounts and accused of receiving money from Antiochus in exchange for favorable peace terms. Direct proof appears to have been weak. Livy's account says some accusations rested more on suspicion than evidence. But proof was not the only goal. The attacks weakened the family's reputation and reminded every successful commander that Rome could still demand answers. Scipio responded with pride rather than careful legal defense. According to one famous story, when senators demanded the financial records, he produced the account book and tore it up before them. He reportedly asked why Rome worried about a disputed sum when he had brought far greater wealth into the treasury through his victories. His message was clear. His service should have placed him beyond petty suspicion. The most dramatic moment came when Scipio was summoned before the people. The hearing fell on the anniversary of Zama. Rather than answer the accusations, he reminded the crowd that on that day he had defeated Hannibal. He announced that he was going to the capital to thank the gods and invited the people to follow. According to Livy and Aulus Gellius, the crowd abandoned the accusers and followed Scipio through the city. The trial dissolved into a victory celebration. It was magnificent political theater, but also a warning. Scipio had shown that popularity could overpower a legal proceeding. Rome believed no individual was greater than the state, yet one man had turned an accusation into a parade. To understand why this frightened the Roman elite, it is important to remember that Rome was still a republic. Romans hated the very idea of kings. A commander with devoted soldiers, enormous wealth, foreign allies, and unmatched popularity could appear dangerous even when he had no intention of overthrowing the government. Scipio's greatest strength had therefore become his greatest political weakness. He inspired loyalty too easily. His name carried too much weight. He behaved with the confidence of a man who knew Rome owed its survival to him, while his opponents believed that no Roman citizen should ever consider himself above investigation. Scipio was not formally exiled in the strict legal sense. Rome did not pass a sentence banishing him. Instead, exhausted and disgusted, he withdrew from political life and retired to his estate at Liternum in Campania. Later tradition portrayed the move as voluntary exile, and that description captures its emotional truth. He left because Rome had become a place where his victories no longer protected him from humiliation. Strabo later wrote that Scipio spent his final days at Liternum after abandoning public affairs because of his hatred towards certain men. A bitter epitaph was later associated with him, "Ungrateful fatherland, you will not even have my bones." Historians cannot be certain these were truly his words, and ancient reports disagree over where he was buried. Still, the line survived because it felt believable. It expressed the tragedy people saw in his ending. Why did Rome turn against the man who defeated Hannibal? Partly because of rivalry. Cato and other senators wanted to limit the dominance of the Scipio family. Partly because enormous sums of war money genuinely required scrutiny. But the deepest reason was fear. Rome admired great generals, yet feared what happened when their soldiers, clients, foreign allies, and public reputation made them too powerful. The Republic wanted heroes who would save the state, surrender their commands, and quietly become ordinary citizens again. It wanted military genius without political independence, personal glory without personal power. Scipio could never be ordinary. He had conquered Spain, carried the war into Africa, defeated Hannibal, and helped Rome discover the scale of its own power. By becoming the symbol of Rome's victory, he also became a challenge to its political balance. His enemies did not need to prove that he was a traitor. They only needed to prove that even Scipio Africanus could be questioned. There was also something deeply Roman about his downfall. The Republic survived for centuries partly because it distrusted powerful individuals. That suspicion sometimes protected Rome from would-be tyrants. But it could also become cruel, petty, and ungrateful. The same political culture that produced Scipio refused to allow him to stand permanently above other senators. Rome did not destroy his legacy. His name survived, Zama became legendary, and later generations ranked him among history's greatest commanders. Yet his final years exposed a harsh truth about the republic he saved. Rome could forgive defeat more easily than it could tolerate one citizen becoming indispensable. Hannibal gave Scipio his greatest victory. Rome gave him his deepest wound. Was Scipio betrayed by Rome? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more incredible history.